Okay.
You see where, okay.
Okay. Do you recognize?
Yes,
what we're
Nick
looking at?
Fish.
Okay. I'm just gonna, and this is a video that you made.
Yes.
You're willing to talk about your relative, Peter Stuyvesant. Wasn't he,
Is that you
Yes.
speaking?
anti-Semite that banned Jews from the original colonies? Or what? You know about that history, right? Tortured Quakers. Well, I'll just take that as a no comment, and I'll ask you these questions at a later date.
You understand?
Who are we? Who's this? And
She's the G4S assistant editor.
is that Cheryl Guerrero?
Yes. And as you can see, she's threatening to have me ejected from the meeting.
I'm allowed to sit here. I'm allowed to sit here.
Have a seat.
I will.
Have a
I'll
seat.
sit on the floor again if you want to try and stop me from asking
And we'll get
questions.
you out before it ever starts.
I don't care.
Have a
I
seat.
can do that.
Have a seat.
I can do that. I can do that, though.
Like that
Reserved. I wonder who.
Okay, so
Can I just ask my clarification, is this for January 9th?
this is your.
Oh, okay, I just.
Okay, so at this point, has the meeting begun?
No.
Okay.
And I was already, she got in my face and said, I'll have you removed before this meeting even starts. And then I said, well, I'll just lay on the ground or whatever, And she's like, well, so she's already, I'm asking a public official a public interest question about his racist, anti-Semite ancestry. I think that people should know about their politicians and if they come from these political dynasties that have been around since before the country was even formed. I mean, it kind of shows the level of person that Nick Fish and Ted Wheeler are. They're both Harvard boys, and they're both elitist, and they're both part of this these dynasty families that have ruled over this country, and the corruption and slavery and all the other stuff that goes along with it.
So I believe I heard Ms. Guerrero say, or you said something to Ms. Guerrero about, I'll lay on the floor like I did before. Did I hear that right?
Yes.
Okay, and what were you referring to?
I've laid on the floor at City Hall before when I get either physically attacked or when they're trying to unlawfully give me orders and all kinds of stuff. But if I feel that I view constitutional law and the Bill of Rights and the Constitution as that's the diagram and the blueprint I work on. I don't care that some low-rank security guard that doesn't even understand the concept of de-escalation or anything, that's just there for a paycheck, that's actually there to crap all over the Constitution and my constitutional rights and not do anything to defend the Constitution whatsoever. I mean, so.
Have you ever seen Ms. Guerrero interact with other people who were there?
Yes, she's a very aggressive, and I think it's very interesting too that she was a mental health professional, or I'm going to do quote unquote professional because she's obviously not a professional, but she was in a mental health wing of a women's prison where she's perfected the art of gaslighting people and using stuff to trigger the mentally ill. And I can only assume that as her role as a prison guard in the mental health wing, that sometimes she'd do the same stuff and get in mentally ill prisoners' faces, gaslight them to the point where they're getting additional charges. So I can be very speculative, and I'm sure that has happened on multiple occasions. So she's obviously not trained at de-escalation, and she said she didn't even try to de-escalate anything.
Have you ever seen Ms. Guerrero interact with people who, as far as you knew, she wasn't familiar with?
Yeah, I've
Like
seen
people
her.
who were not regulars.
Yeah.
And did she treat them the same or different?
Oh, she treats them totally different. I mean, and it's, I mean, if you're one of the people going there actually exposing any of the corruption or talking about anything, you're gonna get treated differently from Ted Wheeler down to the G4S security and all that. They're, because, you know, you can, when you sign up to testify at City Hall, it's actually your time to speak. And you go there and you get your 3 minutes, which they actually circumvented the rules over Sam Adams, because at the Multnomah County Commissioner's Office, just across the river from here, you can walk in there anytime they have a public meeting, and you can go and you can fill out the paperwork to sign up to speak that exact day on something that happened that previously or whatever you want to talk about. Well, there was the sex scandal with Mayor Adams, and there was repeated people that came back to City Hall talking about his sex scandal with his 17-year-old worker, and so they actually changed the rules at City Hall to where you have to sign up in advance to speak. You can't just go in there and speak, and that's really problematic, because if there's a police shooting or if there's an incident that happens in the city and it's something that happens immediately that week that you want to talk about, you shouldn't have to shelf public interest matters and stuff that you can speak about in almost every other city forum, like across. They don't do that. They don't make you sign up in advance to speak at city council meetings around the country. That's not the. They specially tailored the Constitution and the constitutional rights of citizens to redress their government in the city of Portland to cater to Mayor Adams and his alleged pedophilia, and the fact that people were going there every week to talk about his pedophile or alleged pedophile behavior. So he changed the rules, and so you know, I was never at City Hall. I never testified on anything. I never went into City Hall during Sam Adams thing, and I was, you know, like I said, I heard a little bit about it. I didn't know that much about it. I know a lot about it now, actually, and all kinds of stuff, but
Let's return to the video.
Who these seats are reserved for? I'm gonna go in the hallway and wait for my favorite buddies to come walking in. So is there some police-related agendas today? No. So are you just here to do a police activist then? No, sir. Just here to observe the city process? Here for proclamation. Yeah. Let me know if he's harassing you. That's so funny. So the G4S lady just said that, let me know if he's harassing me. But there's no meeting happening yet. It's not even in session. So you're allowed to walk around freely. The meeting's not even in session yet, so you need to learn the rules. No, I'm not gonna have a seat, especially if the meeting's not. So I was just asking this man a couple questions.
I'd like to point out that this G4S lady, she framed my interactions with this police officer as being derogatory. I mean, we're not the best of friends or anything, but
Okay.
Go ahead.
I mean, you can obviously tell that we're not the best of friends, me and the assistant chief there, but I'm actually pretty respectful with him, and we've had several conversations, and I've never used any real derogatory language with him, and obviously not in this video clip, but you know, the little frame up scenario that they're trying to you know, cast and write the script for. They're trying to say that my interactions with that officer right there, that I was derogatory. I don't view that as derogatory. And I asked him a question. He basically said, I'm here for city council, and I wasn't continually harassing him or even continually asking him questions, which would be my right to do if I felt so, because it's constitutional to ask any public official questions, and it's their constitutional right to say no comment, to answer them, or to not answer them.
So let me just get something straight. So what we saw in the video before, a moment ago, you were talking to a police officer, correct?
Yes, I think his role as the assistant chief.
Okay. He's a member of the Portland Police Department.
Day.
Okay. And did you speak to any other police officers while inside council chambers that day?
I don't think so.
Okay,
He was
so-
the only one there, actually.
And so when you were at, or when we heard testimony earlier about you using derogatory statements, could you have understood that as being directed at anybody but that person?
Well, she specifically said that I was harassing the assistant chief and using derogatory language. Well, you know, I think the video evidence speaks for itself that there was no derogatory language, there was no curse words. I was relatively nice, polite. I just simply asked him a question. He said he's been here for the meeting and showed that he didn't necessarily want to interact with me, and I pretty much I mean,
So I saw
obviously
the
I
video.
could ask the assistant chief of police like 100 different questions, but I'm just like, cool, okay, I'm here
So
to
I saw
film
the
the meeting.
video. We all saw the video. Did you have any interactions with this gentleman that was not videotaped that day?
Oh, no.
All right, I'm gonna play the next video.
Land cannot drinking water, uranium, and public trust.
Good morning.
My name is Jean White. I'm grateful to be among this amazing group of folks here this morning for communications. Star, Mimi, Stephen, and Charles. Thank you all for your tireless, unpaid work on behalf of Portland's most vulnerable. For far too long, I've come before you to protest your misguided drinking water policy. Beginning in 2013, our former water commissioner perpetuated a culture of mismanagement at the Water Bureau that has not protected public health. Water Bureau directors have not done their job delivering safe drinking water to many of their 1 million customers in the region. Here are some facts. There's no safe level of lead. It's a potent neurotoxin that is especially harmful to pregnant women, newborns, and young children. You cannot see, taste, or smell lead in water. Here are more facts. The more corrosive the source water, the more lead leaches into drinking water. Portland officials have long known Bull Run water is corrosive, and further, that inadequate treatment would cause higher levels of lead in our drinking water. The result? Portland continues to have the highest levels of lead